via the Cowherd Global Satellite Network. My friend Nick Wright, co-host First Things First. Listen, it's the 350 people interviewed. There's some strife in the relationship. What's your takeaway?
I mean, my takeaway is they use the divorce line. And what is it? About 50% of all marriages in this country end in divorce. This is an arranged marriage between Brady and Belichick, as any coach-quarterback combo is when the quarterback's selected through the draft. The fact that it's lasted at such a high level for this long is essentially unprecedented in NFL history. So, of course, there is some strife. These are two people, both of whom probably believe they are the greatest to ever do what they have done in their respective fields, and who are very different human beings. I'm not surprised that Brady would contemplate what football life would be like without Bill Belichick, but we're lying to ourselves if we don't admit both of these guys have benefited enormously from the other's existence.
Yes.
Like, while I think you make a great point about what the Pats were with Castle. Everyone points out the 11 wins. Another way to say it is they were minus 5 wins from the year before. But obviously, Brady still, I think, turns himself into an all-timer without Belichick. And Belichick probably still wins a Super Bowl or two without Brady. But I don't think either is considered the greatest of all time as they are without each other.
I think that's very fair. Listen, I tend to, when I look at a player, when I look at Andrew Luck, when he was coming into the draft, I said he looks like kind of this guy and kind of this guy. When Sam Darnold came in, I said he's a little Andrew Luck, he's a little Brett Favre. I don't think he's as talented as Favre, closer to Luck, but he is reckless and good. So I compare a lot. I've always said Pete Carroll and Mike Tomlin, same guy. Clearly they can coach. They've got a Super Bowl. When they get the right quarterback, they win. But I will tell you, I'm watching Le'Veon Bell in a jet ski. I got Big Ben taking shots last couple of years. I got Antonio Brown. At some point, and I've been very critical of Pete Carroll, I will be later today because he continues to bang on Russell Wilson, but at some point, is this on Mike Tomlin? I mean, come on, it's like the longer he runs the show there, the crazier it gets, does it not?
All right, well, first of all, when you look at Sam Darnold, you're the heart eyes emoji. That's what you see when you look at Sam Darnold. But to answer your question directly, I think Mike Tomlin, there's one coach in the league more accomplished than Tomlin. It's Belichick. That's it. No coach in NFL history has more double-digit win seasons through 11 years than Tomlin. Only 2 coaches have more wins through 11 seasons than Tomlin. They've never been below 500. They were the best team in the NFL up until the moment Ryan Shazier was tragically carted off the field. That's what's changed in Pittsburgh, by the way. They were giving up 17 a game up until Shazier's injury, 28 a game since then. I don't know how we're going to put the L. Bell situation on Tomlin. The team decided not to extend Le'Veon Bell. He's not under contract, so he's living his best life in Miami. I would argue the Big Ben stuff is a feather in Tomlin's cap because all the other great coaches have their quarterbacks working with them. Tomlin's got to deal with his quarterback. We all agree to stay in the locker room. I'm going to go out on the field during the anthem. I wanted to spike the ball. Don't know why we didn't spike the ball. You want Todd Haley here. I want to strangle Todd Haley with my bare hands. He's got his quarterback working against him regularly. Now, AB, you can argue, hey, the Jacksonville Jaguars had a star player get a little sideways on Twitter, as Joey would say, get a little spicy on the bird, and they suspended him for a week. Antonio Brown does it multiple times. They let it go. That is how Tomlin does business.
Yeah.
I think he is arguably the second best coach in the NFL. I don't know how anyone could make the argument he's not a top 5 coach. So do I think you're being a little harsh on him? I do.
Okay, here's another guy, Pete Carroll. What coach says this about their Hall of Fame quarterback? He said Russell Wilson, quote, is over-trying a little bit. Yeah, because when I watched the Bears game on Monday night, my takeaway was, Russell's trying too hard. Not running for his life. He's just trying too hard. I think Pete Carroll, again, he's empowered players. The locker room is loose. Everybody's talking. I mean, am I too hard on Pete Carroll?
Well, I mean, you have literally picked the only coaches in the league other than Belichick to have been to multiple Super Bowls and to have won one. They're the second and third most accomplished coaches in the league, and you're chopping their heads off. Listen, maybe you're right. Maybe their time has passed. What's happened to the Seahawks to me is twofold. One is they made a very odd decision, which is to rebuild during the prime of a Hall of Fame quarterback's career. I've never seen it done intentionally. I'm not sure why they made this decision. I don't see a precedent for a decision like this. But the other thing going on with Seattle is this. They haven't played at home yet. They're without Baldwin, Wagner, KJ Wright, and Earl Thomas didn't go to training camp. After Russell, those are your four best players. Three are out. One is, I would argue, not yet in his best shape. But Carroll, I will listen to the argument more of because it did seem the locker room and the defense got sick of him and turned on him a bit. And he is a far, far older coach. The Seahawks, the reality is they did make the playoffs every year until last year. So I will give them maybe a bigger grace period than you're comfortable giving them. But that offensive line is in shambles. And I have a very controversial football opinion, which is being part of the Schottenheimer DNA tree doesn't make you a great coach. I know that's a wild thing to say, but they made Brian Schottenheimer their head coach after his illustrious stint, or their offensive coordinator, after his illustrious stint as the offensive coordinator for those great Jets offenses and Rams offenses of a few years ago. Okay, good luck with that.
By the way, you'd be proud of me. You have been very upfront and honest that occasionally you would gamble in a football game. I tend to be a little more reticent there. This week, Joy Taylor is my witness. I bet $1,000, the most I've ever bet times 10 on a regular season NFL game. I feel that strongly about. I've never done that in my life. That's how strongly I feel about a game. And I thought of you because I'm like, God, Nick Wright does that, over breakfast, over English muffin.
Hold on. I've got some quick follow-ups. This was last week or this week?
This week. There's a game this week. My biggest bet
you haven't told America yet?
No. But I'm going to put it in an envelope later today, so when it happens, Monday, I'll say, okay, I'm a schmuck, or hey, I'm buying a new Bentley. One of those two things is going to happen on Monday. I'm very excited. So you be proud of me.
It'll look great next to your other two Bentleys, and now I'm going to quote Colin Cowherd. Once upon a time, Colin Cowherd was on his way to a boxing match. I'm not going to say which boxing match it was, and I never would say it. Maybe it was on a private jet or something like that, because this is a lifestyle Colin Cowherd lives. And I implored you. I begged you. I used every ounce of my whatever sway I had on you. I said, Colin, take a duffel bag with $50,000 there, bet the favorite, and you will come home with a duffel bag of $70,000. And I'm betraying a confidence, but I don't care since you're now in my world of gambling. You said, Nick, I've done very well with my money. Do you know how I've stayed doing well with my money? I don't gamble with my money. What you're going to learn shortly is it's fun to be wealthy. It's so much more fun to maybe not be as wealthy or maybe be more wealthy. Oh, welcome in, sir. It's glorious. It's so glorious. It's great. I'm happy for you. This is exciting.
Nick Wright, I've entered your world. Good seeing you, bud. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.